Would you please sign this for what you'd like to talk about? You have 3 minutes to speak on any item, okay? Anybody else want to address the board? Anybody else?
You want to announce it? Let me introduce you. Let Bob know that. Are we ready to start? Yes. Okay. First, I want to welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for coming. We really appreciate your interest in our community and talking about where we're at right now and what the plan is for the future. Before we start, I'd like to make a couple of introductions. First, the CAMP team is here. We'll be organizing the election vote. Sean Morrell is association attorney. We'll be overseeing everything to make sure that it's properly and legally handled. And that's pretty much it. Bob has got a quick announcement first, and we'll let him do that.
I was told to speak louder. This is a forum. If you would like to address the board of directors, this is an opportunity for all of you to speak. What we request, though, is we're using Robert's rules. So if you would just tell us what you'd like to talk about and turn it in, we'll be in great shape. Anybody else would like to speak or address the board?
Can you address the board impromptuly?
No, ma'am. This is the order that we're using.
Well, what if you don't know what you want to talk about and you just want to respond to something that is being said or talked about? I don't know what I want to talk about.
This is the
Oh, you
order.
can have that.
Anybody else? Okay, we have 2 more questions to address the board.
Okay. Thank you very much again. First, I wanted to thank the Y. They've done a great job to let us use this room free of charge. They canceled all their classes this morning so that we'd be available to us. The Y team last night, they stayed over to remove all the equipment and everything to set it up. And as you probably know, we were kicked out of the Y a year ago for unacceptable activities at board meetings, and you know, I'm just delighted. So I'd like to maintain that positive, good relation Big Tree has with the Y. So if you have a second when you leave, I'd appreciate your just mentioning to any one of the Y staff, thanks a lot, or I appreciate it, you know, because they've gone out of their way to help us. So you know, that's really great. Next thing, before we actually start our meeting, we're going to try to make it short and to the point. Answer any questions that you have so we can move right along and give you an opportunity to hear from the actual candidates that are running for the board, and then to get the election process started. Before we start, I need to tell you that one of our board members resigned. Y'all, or many of you know, Elizabeth Davis has served on the board for a number of years, and 6 months ago, Elizabeth got married, bless her heart, bought a new home, moved out of Big Tree, and she'll still be coming here to help out. But, pardon? But a lot of things after the hurricane, which left a big mess and everything, there's been a lot of criticism and whatever, and she really just feels it was unfair. She's in charge of landscaping. She tried to help. Obviously, we weren't in control of anything, but she just said, I'm done and whatever. So in view of that, after talking to our attorney, we appointed a long-standing homeowner at Big Tree just to sit in interim. not a board member, no vote, but just to take care of the secretary function. We do have some unapproved board meetings that have not been done, mainly because out of the last 4 months board meetings, and 3 of them, if you look at the video, I'm the only one here, which is unfortunate. So I'd like to introduce Sarah Suka, who will just be helping out for a couple hours until we complete the minutes. So Sarah?
Okay.
And Sarah will go over the board minutes, and then we have 2 board members so we can vote to approve them.
I'm Sarah Suka, and I have been here for over 20 years. So I'm going to read the unapproved minutes of October 26, 1916. The meeting was held at the Williams YMCA at 7:15. The videotape of this board meeting is available for homeowners to review at townhomesofbigtree.com. A quorum of board members presented at the meeting with President and Treasurer Larry Kahn, Secretary Elizabeth Davis, and board members Lisa Waters in attendance. September board meeting minutes. A quorum of board members was not present for the September 21st board meeting, so the meeting was not an official board meeting, and there are no board minute meetings. A videotape of this meeting is, however, available at our website. The President's Report. Board President Larry Kahn gave homeowners an update on the status of our 5-year plan to make Big Tree great again, along with recent accomplishments and plans for the future, including scheduled maintenance and repair activities for the remainder of 2016. Treasurer's Report. Mr. Kahn then reviewed the September 2016 and year-to-date financial reports for the townhomes of Big Tree. Homeowner discussion and board vote on the following issues. Number 1, Board President Larry Kahn indicated that Section 3.1 of the Townhomes of Big Tree laws allowed the current board of directors to increase or decrease the number of board of director members, provided that the number of directors is an odd number, effective with the date of the next election. Mr. Kahn indicated that there has always been 5 to 7 members on previous Big Tree Board of Directors, but that the 2015 Board of Directors had reduced the number of directors to be elected to 3 just prior to December 12, 2015 election. Mr. Kahn indicated that he felt that Big Tree needed at least 5 to 7 board members in order to effectively manage future activities of Big Tree. After an open discussion with homeowners on the issue, Mr. Kahn proposed that the 2016 board vote to increase the number of directors for the 2017 board from 3 to 7 members. By a vote of 2 to 1, Mr. Kahn and Elizabeth Davis voted in favor of the proposal. The number of directors to be elected in 2017 was increased from 3 to 7. Issue 2, board member Larry Kahn indicated that Section 7 of Big Tree's covenants and restrictions provided that the board directors determine the amount of dues assessment for the coming year at least 30 days prior to Big Tree annual assessment period. Mr. Kahn indicated that he felt that if Big Tree finances continue to be managed in a fiscally responsible manner as they have been this year, an increase in homeowner dues and or assessment would not be needed for 2017, or for that matter, for many years to come. After an open discussion with homeowners on this issue, Mr. Kahn proposed that the board vote that absent in major foreseen tragedy, an increase in the homeowner's dues and assessment would not be made in 2017. By a vote of 2 to 1, with Larry Kahn and Elizabeth Davis voting in favor of the proposal, the board voted that there would be no increase of homeowner dues or assessment in 2017. And homeowners' question and discussion followed. Has anyone got any corrections to this? Okay, they stand as
Okay,
read.
the board will vote on making them official. All in favor, please raise their hands. Aye. There are the official minutes. Okay, let's move right along. I'm going to try to keep my comments very brief and just do a quick overview. At the last board meeting, in fact, one of the homeowners suggested that why don't we hear from someone else? You're doing all the talking. And I frankly agree with that 100%. But when you don't have anyone else show up at the board meetings, it's pretty hard not to do the talking. But again, today I'm going to just give you a quick overview of my view and the facts of what's transpired over the last 12 months, and introduce you to a few other people that have had a positive impact on what we've been able to accomplish. And by the way, again, all the information available on what's gone on in Big Tree is currently available on the Big Tree website. I'm talking about everything, videos of board meetings, all the documents, all the financials, including all the bills, our 5-year plan, all our plans for moving forward. So it's absolutely nothing kept secret. During the campaign last year, I campaigned on a pledge to set up a 5-year plan to make Big Tree great again, and made certain promises to the homeowners that I thought were really necessary to make the change. It was obvious from the condition of our community with the tremendous amount of deferred maintenance over the years that it was impossible to do it all in 1 year. So we had to set up a logical plan. So I also pledged that we'd have monthly board meetings to keep you informed. We try to respond as quickly as we can to work orders. We manage the finances responsibly and efficiently and carefully control the costs. We work at better landscaping, pool and grounds and maintenance, respect every Big Tree homeowner, be completely honest, have a high degree of integrity and total transparency. And we'd also seek to handle all the issues in a positive manner and not be blaming or moving forward. And we've really strived to do that. Certainly I can't say that we're perfect or we've done everything. And one of the big problems has been the fact that we haven't had the luxury of having a 7-board team like we're now proposing to vote for, that committed to work together in a cooperative manner. We only had 3 board members, and actually for the most part of the major part of 2016, we only had 2. In a lot of cases that I mentioned, only 1 board member. And that is frankly impossible to do all the things that really need to be done in our community to make it great again. Coupled with that, we got hit with the hurricane, and a lot of homeowners were unfortunately impatient, and though those of us like myself and Liz Davis were trying to help and get things done with the trees and the waste and whatever, hey, we're not magicians. It affected the whole First Coast area. They had tree companies and coming in from Alabama and North and South Carolina and everywhere else to handle the problem. So in any event, over 85% of the homeowners agreed with what we were talking about last year, what we were proposing, and I say agreed because they voted in favor of it at last year's election at the YMCA, which was directed by First Coast Association Management. We actually had legal contracts with 2 management companies, followed by a lawsuit by one. Thank God everything got successfully settled and handled. But so here we are a year later, and the question is, have we made progress? Is Big Tree better off than we were a year ago? Are we moving in the right direction? Did we keep the promises that we made to homeowners? We're often criticized because not everything is done yet. And that's true. I mean, we said it couldn't all be done. We had to make tough choices. We had to focus on trying the buildings that were in the worst condition. We can't do all of them, but we've done an awful lot. So it's really been a transition year, in my view, setting it up for the long term for Big Tree. And I'm really optimistic and positive, assuming, again, we have a solid board for next year that's committed to work in a positive manner, cooperatively, honestly, integrity, and in a democratic way, and do things in a legal and proper manner. If we don't do that and we fall back into the way, unfortunately, some things were handled in the past, we're going to have problems. So, some of the things we've accomplished, and it'll take about 2 minutes to run through them, and we'll go from there. It's also what we accomplished couldn't even have been done with some of the homeowners that did step forward to help us in some of these areas. I mean, it's just impossible. People like Bill Jasper, who in the finance area helped us do our planning and analyze our cost and set up parameters to do things right. Like Luis Lira, who also on the finance committee and on the documents committee has worked hard to help steer and give advice to move Big Tree in a proper direction. Chester Stokes has been on the documents committee, and that's frankly something that absolutely has to be done, in my opinion. We didn't complete it last year because we were so short of people, and it's a huge job, but basically it provides the guidelines for how the board operates. And if we want to prevent Big Tree ever falling back into the situation where we have a dictator doing illegal things or things falling apart, we need to have documents that speak clearly and everybody understands. And it's not something that we decide. The committee will propose it to the board. Every homeowner will have an opportunity to vote. And by every homeowner, I mean we have to have 2/3 of all the Big Tree homeowners vote before they're accepted. But again, part of my plan has been that the work we do is sustainable on a long-term basis. It's not that we do a lot of work and then things start falling apart again. It's that we set it up in a way that it's going to go on for a long term. My wife Pat and I love Big Tree. We'd like to spend our retirement years, and for a lot of years, we certainly like a community that operates in a sound way, is properly managed, is fiscally responsible, and we don't have problems. So some of the things we did last year in the finance area, we reduced the bad debt, the unpaid dues, by over 50%, saving us $47,000, and that's going to get bigger. We got a couple of cases that have been going for some time. As they get settled, who Sean is working with us on, is going to help us even more. In the administrative area, we're almost $40,000 under budget so far. I mean, you add those together, and right there, that's over $85,000 that we can spend to help improve our community, to fix up your buildings and houses. So I think, you know, that's extremely important. Getting ahead of myself here. A year ago, it was almost impossible to sell a home at Big Tree. All the sales were falling apart because of the wood rot problems that weren't being fixed. We had a terrible reputation in the real estate community. Realtors didn't even want to show homes in Big Tree. Our property values were way, way down, and frankly, that's been turned around dramatically. Part of my background, I was been in the business world for some time. I was also a real estate broker owner in Jacksonville, so I understand and know some of the realtors and how they operate. And we've had 17 Big Tree units have sold. Every one that's been put on the market has been sold and closed successfully at higher and higher property values. So the value of our investments in our home has gone up, and I'm convinced it's going to continue to go up in the future if we manage things properly. As a matter of fact, my next door neighbor just put a home on the market. Within a week, got a 100% cash, full price offer, and the building is not even repaired yet. But the realtor and the homeowner have read and know about our 5-year plan. They checked the work that we had actually done in the community, so they understand and believe where we're going. So I think that's extremely important. We've had by far the biggest surge in repair activity in the history of Big Tree since it's been built. We'll have spent over 300 around. Bill Jasper will give us some exact numbers, around $350,000 before we're here, which is the major part of our budget. Okay, we've done some things in the area to clean up and fix up, improve the security system, 24-hour video surveillance, clean up our signs, the pool and pavilion, and other areas. But okay, for the future, again, we need to complete our governing documents. We also, frankly, need to have an association management company involved in overseeing things so that we're sure they go in a positive, fair manner on an ongoing basis. So we'd be working on that. Again, for me, I'd much rather be sitting out in the audience with you than even running for the board. And if it weren't for the fact that I just feel I want to try to make sure that what we've started is successfully completed. The last couple of months have been very contentious at Big Tree, quite frankly. And our meetings have not been well. There's some people that have their own agenda that are been trying to disrupt things, and everybody has the opportunity to voice an opinion at every meeting, and I've said that and have allowed that, but the arguing back and forth is just not acceptable. And so with that, I'd like to move forward and let some other people, I'm through talking. Bill Jasper and the Finance Committee has worked intensely working on the finances. He knows the numbers really well. I'd like to have Bill come up and talk to you a little more. Bill?
Good morning, everybody. Where we are right now did not happen by accident. We have very diligently, since about February, took a look at our finances, tried to figure out what we were going to do with the building maintenance, which is about 50% of our budget, and we put in effect a plan. Just a few numbers. I know numbers are hard to take sometimes, but our budget when we started for buildings was about $212,500. Now we knew that that wasn't going to be enough to deal with all the things we had to do this year. So as a finance committee, Luis and Larry and myself got together. Lisa was part of it at the time. We said that we would bump our budget by $50,000. We started with $125,000 in cash, and we basically said we don't need that much cash. We really don't, so we could draw it down maybe to about $75,000. So if we took $50,000, supplemented our normal budget of $212,000, we got to $262,500. And that's where we started the year, and we started working with that figure. Now that was for both scheduled and unscheduled maintenance. So for work orders and things like that, we tried to make allowance for the fact that things would come up. People would need gates repaired, fences repaired, things like that, leaks, stuff like that. So we thought that we would have enough money to do that. Now, as the year went on, actually we got a little bit more relaxed about how much cash we needed, and we were also the beneficiary of some of the things that Larry had mentioned before. We were able to spend more money as the year went by. We actually, not only did we collect a lot of past due receivables, we also made money on that because we took in about $8,500 in revenues associated with past due interest, as well as late fees and things like that were paid. So we were really lucky. We had no litigation expense, and we had no real major contingency expense until we ran into the hurricane. So, and at the same time, we relaxed our thinking about how much cash do we need. Instead of having $75,000, maybe we thought we could bring it down to $50,000 or $60,000 and still be okay for any unexpected kind of things that happen in here. So we're going to wind up spending, like Larry said, somewhere in the neighborhood of $350,000 on building maintenance this year. That's $90,000 more than what we thought we were going to do at the end of the year. So that is a big increase, but it's all funded out of efficiencies that we've created, mainly spending that we didn't have to make or monies that we collected from homeowners that were past due on their assessments. So when I look at our current financials, which you all have a copy of, it shows that we've spent more money than we've had revenues to the tune of about $65,000. Okay, some people could look at that and be alarmed, but truthfully, we're right on target with what we plan to do. Because we originally said we would take down our cash by 50, and we said maybe we'll take it down by more than that because we created some efficiencies in our the way we do things here, not spending money on things that we knew we weren't going to spend money on in the first 2 years of the 5-year plan. So we actually are right on target, and I kind of expect that we're going to finish the year with about $60,000 in cash in the bank. We've got some bills that have not been paid yet that have been accumulated, but some of our repair activity is slowing down a little bit this month, so we should have plenty of cash by the end. Now, the only thing that troubles me about our finances right now, and I'm not going to dwell on this, but there was some litigation a couple of years ago brought by shareholders about how we were being managed at the time. It precipitated a settlement mediation. It resulted in our hiring a professional manager. I brought this to the attention of all the candidates that are running for the board so everybody knows what the issue is, and I'm proposing that shortly after the new board is elected, that the board convene, meet, and decide exactly what we're going to do to comply with the terms of the mediation agreement. In my mind, we're not complying 100%, so there's some things that we have to do. By the way, this mediation agreement is a matter of public record. It has to do with how we're governed in here. It is something that is available to all of the homeowners in the community. All you have to do is go over to the CAM team office and look in the 2014 box, and you will find a copy of the mediation agreement.
Isn't it on the website?
And it's now posted on the website. Everything is on the website. So I just bring that to your attention because there could be some financial issues for Big Tree. If there are 4 people in this community that still have standing in that lawsuit, and they could bring a litigation saying that we're not in compliance, and that could have financial consequences for the association as well as all of the individual directors that are serving. So that's it. Last 2 things, our 2017 budget, draft of that is on the website. I'm thinking that we're going to have maybe about $260,000 next year to spend on buildings. That's down from what we're doing this year, but it still is a very respectable number and something that we can work with and live with. And it will maintain our cash position around $50,000, $60,000. So I urge you to take a look at that. It's on the website, and the new board will be voting on the adoption of that budget. And then the last thing is, anybody in here who's interested in how we're spending money on the buildings, every month I put up on the website exactly how much money we spend by building and by type of category that we spend money on. So, you know, siding, painting and washing, roofs, all that kind of stuff. It's all itemized. So anybody that wants to see all that detail, all they have to do is log on to the website.
Thank you, Bill. I'd like Luis Lira just to spend a minute. Luis has been on, again, the Finance and the Documents Committee. He's been instrumental in looking at how we handle our maintenance and repair scheduling as well as our work orders and our planning. So just a couple minutes, Luis.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Luis Lira. I'm running for a seat on the board this year. As Larry mentioned, I served on the Budget and Finance Committee with Bill this past year, and that was a great rundown of the finances. One of the things that we have to really understand is when the Budget and Finance Committee, which is an advisory committee to the Board of Directors, we have the power to make recommendations. When we started that in January, we didn't have a baseline. So as we went along, Bill mentioned we started to get more comfortable with the cash flow, more comfortable with the spending, and a better understanding how work orders drain your budget over the course of the year, because those are unexpected expenses. So that was a great synopsis of everything that was done, and nothing gets done by osmosis. You have to plan, and there was great planning this past year for that committee, and I think you did a great job. The second committee that I was part of was part of the Governance Documents Committee, and I'm going to break out in breakdancing here one second.
We want to see that.
Yeah, well, that was pretty good. But the Governance and Documents Committee is very important, and I had the opportunity to work with Chester and Katie on that, and our main thrust was first to tackle the government's documents, which were outdated, and bring them up to plain English so that we can go through it, read it, and understand what's in that particular document on how that government document governs us as owners as Big Tree. And of course, you have the bylaws and the articles of incorporation that we're going to tackle next. But we're very close to finalizing that document, making the recommendations to the board of directors so that they can present it to the homeowners. And if ratified, then it will go through legal, and legal will then bless it, and off we go. So it was great working with both you folks this year, and we hope to continue that next year. I'm running for the board. I'm soliciting your vote because I think it's time for me to step up from a committee membership into a board of directors position to be able to continue the work that we're doing. So thank you for listening.
Thank you, Louise. Chester Stokes was also on the documents committee, and as I said, in my view, it's a key document if we want to really ensure that Big Tree is managed in a legal and a proper manner going forward, and that we never fall back into some of the problem areas. So Chester may have a comment or two he wants to make on that.
Okay, yeah. What I'm looking forward to with the new board that's going to come into operation is what I call synergy, cooperative action. I'm hoping that we will bring into the, whoever's elected, will bring into the board a good cross-section of diverse thoughts, thinking, and that we'll be able to take that thinking and hammer out a course of action that would be would have the effect of adding value to the people's lives here at Big Tree and giving them a stronger sense of the shared ownership responsibilities we do have. So I'd like to encourage committee action. Although, some people, of us are going to get out if we're elected to committees. That doesn't mean committees will not exist. That's, as a matter of fact, I feel that committees will be expanded. There will be more interaction among the people in the committee. And I'm hoping that we can challenge each other not to quit. Okay, we shouldn't be quitting on this thing. If we're part of an operation where we lose our opinion or have to take a back seat on our opinion, getting discouraged and quitting would not be a great answer. You need to keep your voice active here at Big Tree. You need to keep your interest active here at Big Tree. Not to say you shouldn't be changing your mind, there's a lot of room for that, but I'd like to see, again, synergistic action. To the effect that I'm going to be trying to make the controlling documents clearer by rewriting, not clarifying them, if you will, correcting them, to state more in more plain English or in more understandable terms what our shared ownership responsibilities are here at Big Tree. Because we buy a contract as well as the property. And we should understand we've bought into a constitutional contract that governs us. And that as a buying, your buying experience will revolve around that particular contract. So it's very important that we understand the contract and not be disillusioned by the fact that right now it's a hard contract to figure out. So I'm hoping that we could use our own resources to rewrite these terms and then have that reviewed by Sean over here and then make that a guidance copy of what the declaration, CC&R, and bylaws are.
Thanks, Chester. One of the really challenging areas at Big Tree, frankly, has been our grounds and landscaping and tree issues, and particularly after the hurricane, where we got some real problem areas, real challenges, as it were. We're lucky enough to have this year a gentleman that is a new homeowner at Big Tree. That's his full-time day job. He's a professional property manager for Insula Corporation, a regional manager, and he helps design and improve landscaping and tree issues. So to me, what a perfect fit. We have a big need for somebody, and I think it's phenomenal. So I'd like to introduce Richard Wakely and just have him make a couple comments about that.
How y'all doing? Yeah, I'm Richard Wakely. I think a lot of you have already met me from the last couple of meetings, and I am running for the seat on the board. My day job, as Larry calls it, is a regional property manager for Insula companies. We're based out of Sarasota, Florida, and we manage a little over 2,000 apartments scattered out through Orlando, Tallahassee, Sarasota, Florida. The main thing I wanted to do this year, since I'm a new owner here, is try to do something with the grounds. And talking to a lot of y'all, it seems like everybody wants to do something with the grounds. And some of the problems I see is there's a huge accumulation of sticks, pine cones, and all kind of other things that are in our property, especially in the natural areas. And I know the hurricane did not help that. It just made it even worse. So we still have some piles of debris stacked around that I certainly want to get rid of. And I'm going to work with the board and work with Larry, see what kind of funds we got, get this stuff out of here as quick as we can. Maybe we have to get some extra help to kind of get some of these bad areas taken care of. So I know that's a big problem there. The other problem is the natural areas need to be, you don't want to take up all your pine straw in the natural area. You need that pine straw down there, but you don't need so much. Just take it all up and you're going to have a problem with weeds growing up. We don't want that to happen. I know we don't have a sprinkler system, and that's one thing that I want to put in front of the board this year, if we have the finances to at least do the front entrance coming in by the Y, because it looks really bad when you drive into the property. And one thing we need to keep our property values up is curb appeal. And right now, we don't have any curb appeal coming into the front. One of the things I want to do there is put some more shrubs, because half the ones we got coming into the entrance are dead. They're full of all kind of moss, just don't look good. The trees are overgrown there. I know the parking lot's a problem, and that's another big issue. But that's one of my main focus things, is to try to get the front entrance taken care of. I know there's a big pile of rocks somewhere in the property where that tree fell on a building. I saw that. We need to get rid of that. And then I'm going to meet with the landscapers first thing, as far as walk the grounds with them, determine what we need to do to make this place look better, to make Big Tree better again. And I think that's about it. I think we talked about my wish list items was that front entrance. And then we need some new plants, pine straw, and maybe in the front beds coming in, we put pine straw around those areas to really make it fresh coming into the front. And the sprinkler system is a big number, I know that is, and it doesn't work anywhere on the property, so at least have it working on the islands coming in, so that area will look fresh and clean. And that's it. Thank y'all for having me.
Joshua Manning is also a new homeowner, and he's got a diverse background in IT and training and safety. And Joshua would like to look after the safety and security of our Big Tree community, help us improve in some of those areas. So let me introduce Joshua Manning for just a second.
Morning.
Good morning.
On my Jewish friend. I missed the synagogue this morning for this. We do have some concerns about the fencing that's going on around our perimeter, which I'd like to address to the board and make some recommendations to. I've lived in Jacksonville for all my life and bought brand new in here because I loved this place. I mean, when you drive in, it's such a friendly place, and you drive in at night and it looks very nice and serene. So it's obviously, we loved it when we drove through here one Friday, Saturday night, just looking for riffraff. We were looking for problems not to buy the property. But once we got in here and bought, and we got walking around and things, looking at things, there are some places of concern. Love the fact that he made the lighting better in here. We got some cameras put up. We can obviously work on making that better, getting more of those things put into place. Some of the concrete needs to be replaced. Some of the pads and the walkways need to be replaced. And just want to work with the board to try to get this stuff taken care of too, so where we can have, you know, a safe place for people to walk around. And there's not a lot of traffic in and out of this place. The traffic that we do have in here, some of the people fly in through here, so that's a little concerning. So we're just going to try to make it safer for everybody in here. And I was looking into getting a neighborhood watch neighborhood watch program kind of started, and so I've looked into that. It's free to do. We'll need volunteers, so I'll be asking for everybody's help for that. And that should take care of some of the stuff that's happening at night. I know myself, I don't go to sleep until late hours, so I can patrol areas and things of that nature. So all of the younger crowd and some of the older people that are living here, if you like to stay up late night, and we can go walking and have a nice night walking. So thank you. I'm asking for your vote. Thank you.
The other area that's been a challenge for us, and a big tree, frankly, with one or two board members, has been communications. I mean, we just can't quickly respond to all of the questions, all of the phone calls, all of the work orders. Almost working full-time as it is and still can't get it done. So Adrian Bieber wants to work with the board to really focus on that area to make sure everybody's phone call, everybody's work order, everybody's question is followed up on right away. And if he can communicate with the board. And again, that would be a huge team, a huge advantage to have a team like that to working together to keep you informed. It's one thing to send out a blast email, to put information on the website. It's another thing to call and say, hello, Mary, you had a question about this, or you submitted, and basically to really fill you in on the facts. So Adrian, take a minute.
My expertise is in administrative support. So for everybody that's on this team, I can work with them very easily. They're all very intelligent, they're all proactive, and they are all wanting the better things for Big Tree, as I also do. And I walk around in the community quite a bit, and I've met a lot of people. Everyone is very nice. It's a wonderful community. We really have a little paradise in here, and we'd like to keep it that way. So I'm just offering my services to anybody that wants to talk to me, anybody that wants my phone number, I'm available. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian. Okay, we're done. The last area just has to do with answering any questions, and we'll let Sean.
Larry, I just want to emphasize that my name is Chester Brown.
Okay.
Everybody, okay.
Adrian's last name is Bieber, not Bieber.
Apologize for that. And to make sure everybody running for the board has an opportunity to adequately state their interest in serving and their communications. So,
Are you running?
Yes.
Are you going to speak?
Well, if given the opportunity, I will.
I would love to hear you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lisa Waters. I've lived here for about 1.5 years now. It's been quite a year trying to serve on the board, and I have a statement I would like to read to you. We'll just go with it. I'm delighted that this year there will be 7 people elected to the board to collaborate and work to achieve the many difficult tasks before us. As every year, you were given a voice to vote for someone who you believe will deliver on the promise and the plan that they propose. The question is, who will be president? Who will lead the community to accomplish these tasks? That person must be able to realize what the problems are and develop a plan to resolve them.
It requires fulfilling the 3 duties entrusted to the board: duty of care, using sound business judgment; duty of loyalty, acting in good faith in the interest and benefit of the HOA as a whole; duty to act. These 3 duties require truthfulness, honesty, and plain common sense. The first 5 months of the year, I made a promise and a plan to restore our 40 buildings. I executed that plan, working on almost half of the 40 buildings. Although I focused my attention on the buildings, I also became aware of other HOA issues that were dysfunctional or non-existent. I brought these concerns to the attention of Larry, Bill, and Luis on the Financial Committee, namely our need for a management company and insurance. I'm very concerned that our HOA has no reserve, we have no insurance on the buildings, and we have no money. In fact, we are $65,000 in the hole. You've heard of a 5-year plan that's roughly $2 million. You may be asking yourself, what exactly is the 5-year plan? What exactly and how exactly will the money be spent? I know many people in here who are discouraged as they have waited over 10 years to have their building repaired. They say, here we go again, another year, another board. I have a 1-year plan for 2017 to get a management company that can provide all the services this community needs, including the building and grounds maintenance. 2, to get some kind of insurance on these buildings, even if it is just a bare bones insurance company to cover the shell of the building. 3, to continue the restoration of the buildings in an effective and efficient manner, and to begin a savings plan to create a monetary reserve. These issues are important to me as a board member, but also as a homeowner and a resident. Perhaps these issues matter more to me because this is not my second home. It is not my investment rental property. It is my home where I live and my only home. The people of Big Tree have waited long enough. Today, you, the residents, and the elected board will get to decide who has the ability and the common sense to do the right thing and to get the job done. Thank you.
Dion, you were running?
I was, and I am. I support Lisa in everything she said. I have treasured my home in Big Tree from 1997 forward. Much of what Lisa said is right on. Miscommunication of fact is what has perpetuated where we are in Big Tree, not just the decline of our buildings and our infrastructure, but the decline perpetuated in our relationships with each other. So Lisa understands the bare kind of things, the simple things that I feel others in here don't understand regarding our buildings. And I support her wholeheartedly. I support all of you awakening to the truth of matters, because while things are packaged in a very pretty way with the 7 that have put forward information on our community website, where 2 other people within our community were not invited, I think is, well, not right to begin with. And the misinformation I speak of has propelled us to where we are. So let's move beyond it. Let's make some changes. I offer my services.
Thank you. Questions? Peggy McCrary has submitted a question or a statement. Peggy?
Yes, thank you. I understand from what Mr. Jasper stated that we're not in 100% compliance with the mitigation. Did I understand that correctly, Mr. Jasper?
Yes,
Okay, I just want to know that before.
that's in my opinion.
Okay,
And, you know,
Well-
not everybody agrees with that.
okay.
Okay.
Well, I don't know, but I'm going to find out. But if we are not, why aren't we? And I'm going to go home and read my paper. But if we are not in 100% compliance, why is it just being brought up now? It's the end of the year. And I, for one, and Sean, this is not directed towards you, honey. We have spent a lot of money on lawyers, and so in my mind, I'm thinking, uh-oh, if something comes of this, then part of our money will go to another lawyer. If I'm wrong, then I will stand corrected, but I want to know. I pay my dues, I am outstanding in the community, and I want to know these things. And whoever gets on the board, I have one statement that I would like to say to you and ask you. Be transparent with us, even if it's bad. Well, maybe some people don't want to know. I want to know. I'd like to know how my money is going to be spent, why it's being spent in a certain way. I don't want to wait until the other foot drops and then we're going, now what? So that's all I'm asking you, just be transparent.
Let me just respond very quickly is, you know, we do take those issues very, very seriously, and we want to comply with the law. It was a mediation settlement, and there are some differences of opinion. As stated by the people that actually, the homeowners that actually filed the lawsuit, some of which were on the board, it has never been technically applied to the way Bill said. We have talked to our attorney, Sean Morrell, about the issue already. It's something that I would like to make clear and get resolved to, and we're certainly willing to sit down as a group and a committee to work out a solution. We want to do things legally, we want to do things right, we want to be transparent, as Peggy has indicated, to everybody, so everybody understands exactly what's going on. So, again, we do take it very, very seriously, and we definitely want to comply with whatever legal requirements, et cetera, that we have. So, go ahead.
Mention some details.
Sure.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sean Morrell. I specialize in HOA condo law. It's actually all I do. I appreciate the opportunity to work with your community, particularly the board members and owners I've worked with in the last few months. Just as a side note, I was not the legal counsel the last few years. So the lawsuit that's being referenced, the mediation, I wasn't involved in that. I did some work with Mr. Klein several years ago, and I've just recently, in the last few months, started working with Larry and Lisa on the new board. But I'm familiar with what went on in a nutshell, and it's all available online, but in a nutshell, some homeowners brought a lawsuit about some mismanagement being done, or the way that the association was running the community, mainly in regards to expenditures and maintenance. Again, I don't know all the details, I wasn't involved back then at all, but I have read the mediation report, and in a nutshell, what came out of it was, I think it was written for good reason, that there wanted to be better management, better oversight, particularly in regards to maintenance and expenditures related to maintenance. So that was really the spirit of it, and I think it was a good thing, and one of the mandates was hiring a management company. I think that was very important, which I think adds an objective third party or intermediary layer between the owners and the association and the board, so you don't just feel like the board's doing everything on their own. It helps with reporting. I've worked with the CAM team for years. They're a fantastic management company, and there's a lot of benefit to having one in your community. So that was a mandate that a management company be hired, which it was. I think the mediation document got drafted. It wasn't drafted perfectly. I don't think it was thought about perfectly in the language of the document. One of the problems we're currently grappling with, which I believe Mr. Jasper raised, is it says that basically the board is not to be involved with the maintenance of buildings, that it's supposed to be done entirely by the management company. The language is a little bit ambiguous, but it appears to say all maintenance shall be managed by the management company. And it doesn't give an end date to that. It doesn't give any, exceptions to that. And I think that's a little unrealistic. I don't think in perpetuity forever the board can't be involved in maintenance. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. I think more what it meant is, hey, let's get a management company involved so the board's not doing it all on their own. People feel like it's being done behind closed doors. Let's have better reporting. Let's have the management company handle the actual work orders and this, that, and the other. But to not allow board members or committee members to walk around your community and do inspections and have a role in the buildings that are being done, in my opinion, just doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't think it's very realistic. But putting my lawyer hat on, if you just read the language of the document, it appears to say the board cannot be involved in maintenance. It needs to be all done by the management company. It's worth noting that that hasn't been done since that mediation was entered. Both the previous board and this board have not been operating that way. So that was the concern that Larry and Bill and I have been talking a lot about, and I think Bill made some good points that if you serve on the board, if you're elected and you serve on the board, and you are involved in maintenance, could you theoretically be violating the language of that mediation agreement and therefore be doing willful misconduct that could get you outside of insurance and potentially get yourself in trouble, all that kind of thing. Now, are we overanalyzing, create a problem that is probably not there? Arguably we are, but I think it's worth ironing that out, and we're coming up with some solutions. I don't think we have the solution yet, but we're going to be working on possibly solving that problem. So that's really what, there's been a lot of talk about this mediation agreement and the board not being in compliance with it, and I just kind of wanted to flush out, the basis of it. And again, I don't know all the nuts and bolts. I just found out about this 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I was not involved back then. But I think it's a solvable problem because I think it's important to note that, as an attorney, I always look for where are the adversarial parties, where's the contention at? I'm all about resolving, not litigating. And the question is, where were the adversarial parties? The adversarial parties were the plaintiffs, homeowners at the time, who brought what I believe were some very founded allegations or concerns. And then the board at the time was the defendant, and the two parties got together and worked out a solution. I don't think you necessarily, I don't know the ins and outs of everything going on in the community, I don't mean it's perfect, but I think the issues that led to that litigation several years ago, in large part, have been resolved. And so my hope is you don't really have two adversarial parties in regard to that lawsuit anymore. So we just need to polish up a little bit and iron out that one issue that we've been discussing. Could a new director get liability if they're involved in maintenance? It sure shouldn't be, but we need to make sure legally we tighten that up a little bit. So if anyone has more questions, I'll be happy to chat further about that.
I look at this as applying reasonableness to the mediation agreement, and I look at the board's role as hiring facilitation. And there's a portion of there where the board is required, by my thinking, to protect ownership rights, and that ensure the quality of what we're getting out of any contract. And then I think a management company should facilitate that, act as our go-to people to make sure that our ownership rights are being protected. Are you correct?
Absolutely, and I think that was the spirit of the mediation agreement. I don't think even the plaintiffs at the time intended, for the rest of Big Tree's history, the board cannot in any way be involved in maintenance. I think it was sloppy drafting and how the document ultimately came down. I agree with you. I think the spirit of that was to get a management company involved, let them do more of the interactions between the contractors. I mean, for example, one of the allegations in that was that one of your contractors was overcharging hours. They were billing for hours that they weren't actually doing work, or if you went back and looked at the amount of hours, it wasn't feasible for them to have worked as many hours as they charged. And as part of the settlement agreement, they reimbursed some money. So clearly, either A, there was some improper things going on, or at the very least, they felt exposed to liability in that regard. So I think it was tightening up those things from being able to happen. How did that happen? If we've got a contractor overcharging hours to the point you couldn't have even worked that many hours, why didn't somebody pick up on that? Why didn't the board pick up on that? So the purpose of injecting a management company is to get that extra set of eyes, an objective party in between. And then I think reporting is important too. I think the plaintiffs at the time, and probably other homeowners, felt in the dark to a lot of the things. I don't even know where the money's being spent. Now I found out it's being somewhat mismanaged. So a management company can help with the reporting as well. And I think it made a lot of progress. I mean, this mediation was, 2 or 3 years ago. I think it made a lot of progress in that regard. I mean, hearing everything you've mentioned is on the website, that's really neat. Not a lot of my communities have that much available on the website. So I think you're making good progress, and I think we just need to tighten up this one kind of loophole in that.
Thank you very much, Sean. I don't want to arbitrarily cut it off. Oh, go ahead. I don't want to arbitrarily cut off any last questions. I know Adrian wanted to make a comment, and also anyone else that has a burning questions before Sean gets us organized and we actually go cast our votes in the election. Let's just finish that up, so I'll let Adrian first, and then we'll certainly, go ahead.
I just want to be able to speak as I did.
Pardon?
I already spoke.
Okay, good. You had a question? Go ahead.
That's a question. I just want to make a statement, if I may. As a previous president of an association, a very large one, I can tell you one thing right now, this man here is doing a fantastic job.
Could you provide your background?
My professional background is I have a master's degree in fine arts. I've worked in construction over 30 years. I also have a real estate license. The past 2 properties that I've bought and sold, I made over 3,000% profit. So I'm very aware of the properties and the property values here. When I came to Big Tree and looked at it, I knew that I was getting something that I thought was a great deal and that I could improve to increase the property value. That's one of the, that's why I bought a place in Big Tree.
Have a question here?
My question has to do with the proxy. I have 2 proxies and then my own vote. I'm not sure how many times I can vote.
3 times.
3 times?
Yeah, the proxies you're carrying today, you'll be voting on their behalf. So you've got your own vote, assuming you own 1 unit here. And then if 2 people gave you votes, your ballot will count as 3 votes.
Oh, that's.
Or they may have you fill out 3 ballots, 1 for each proxy, but you will carry the amount of votes for yourself and then every proxy you have today.
They have the proxy already.
Yeah, yes, they have your proxy.
So, I don't understand. Do I mark it 7
Well,
times?
the camp team's the one running the procedure of the elections, so you may want to ask them, but I'm going to guess the way that they're probably doing it is when you came in and registered your proxy, they registered you as coming with 2 proxies today, so your vote will now count as 3.
I don't know. That's the reason I'm asking.
Yeah, I saw Casey creating a register and Peggy creating a register of
She'll
proxies.
leave me.
Correct, so if one of you showed up with 10 proxies today and they were counted valid and put it on that chart, then you're going to cast 11 votes today, your own and the 10 proxies.
Okay.
Sean, I have kind of a stupid question. Have we been nominated yet? I mean, do we formally have to nominate ourselves, or?
I mean, no, you don't.
Are the 9 of us that are declared as candidates, are we nominated, or?
Yeah, I mean, you can vote for anybody, I mean, and so I think it might be worth maybe everybody standing up here or maybe reading down the names, because I was a little confused on that too. I mean, several of you spoke, but I couldn't create a list right now of the candidates, so maybe it would be worth us doing that before everybody goes and casts their vote. So I think that's a great point, Bill. There doesn't need to be a formal nominating process, but why don't we make everybody aware who the candidates are and make sure they've all had a chance to speak. Okay, I've already got it. Is there anybody not on the paper who's interested in that?
Let me read the names. If there's any corrections that need to be made, you can just let me know. I have Lisa Waters and Diane Peterson. Dion, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
D-I-A-N.
Yes, that's correct.
Larry Kahn, Luis Lara, Bill Jasper, Adrian Biver, Richard Wakely, Joshua Manning, and Chester Brown. Is there anyone else that needs to be added to the list?
If there's anybody not on that list who's interested in running and would like to speak, I mean, you have the right to do that as well. You don't have to be on that pre-list. It seems like all those parties have had a chance to speak, so.
You don't want to go.
I am a little unclear. I know Lisa's running, but is someone back here running also?
Dion?
Dion.
Why don't you stand up, Dion?
I mean, I know you spoke, but I didn't know.
She's going to be running for
Thank
a
you.
position.
Thank you.
Okay, well, that's basically all with the meeting. I'll leave it up to Sean and the CAM team to get it organized so you can cast your votes and make sure everything's properly accounted. And then we'll come back and announce the results, I guess, Sean. So thank you for your participation.
Grab the board by hand, and that's the only one that I could not reach. You I have to stand on the chair. You can reach it and pull it.
Again, before you leave, don't forget to say thanks or appreciate it to the Y team. I really appreciate their hospitality and all they've done to rearrange their schedules, provide room, have their staff move all this exercise equipment out, have to move it all back. So I really appreciate that kind of.
They didn't tell you to go back in.
Pardon?
They didn't tell you you have to go back in.
I offered to, but they said they would graciously take care of it. They know exactly how to handle the equipment, and I don't. Right.
Used to do it. Yeah. Yeah, let me clarify. And if you don't mind, Peggy just asked a great question. Because you have 7 open seats, you're able to vote for up to 7 people on the ballot. So there's going to be 9 names on the ballot, and you can circle up to 7. You can just vote for 1 if you just have 1 candidate you want to vote for, but you can vote for up to 7 because you will be filling 7 seats. So in regards to your proxy question, though, ma'am, you only need to submit 1 ballot. Your ballot will be cast on behalf of the individuals who mailed you a proxy. So if you vote for 4 people, you will vote for those 4 people. You'll also vote for those 4 people on behalf of the 2 people you brought the proxy in for. You don't need to circle it 21 times on your ballot. Just vote for up to 7, and then we've got the list that'll calculate how many votes you're counted for. No, you just fill out the 7 candidates you're voting for, and that vote will be counted twice. Yeah, you fill out the 7 candidates one time on your sheet, and your sheet will be counted twice. So those 7 candidates will receive 2 votes on their sheet. Yes.
Very actively. Lara, Bill Jasper, Richard Wakely, Joshua Manning, Larry Kahn, Chester Brown, and Adrian, not Bieber, Biber. I read them in order of votes they got, but let me just go down and make sure I'm reading everybody. We got Larry, Lewis, Bill, Adrian, Richard, Joshua, and Chester. So these 7 are your board of directors.
And just for the owners to know, and potentially for the board as well, statute gives 10 days for the new board to hold their first board meeting. It's called an organizational meeting. What they'll do is get together and choose who's going to be the officers, president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. That's done by majority vote of the board, but it will be a typical board meeting. It's open to the membership, so it will be noticed 48 hours in advance, and you're all welcome to attend. They may add other agenda items to it as well, which I believe they will, but in the next 10 days, they'll meet and become officers. So congratulations, everyone, and thanks for being involved.
Thank you.